Hi, hello, how are you? I am Smriti. Welcome to my video. I am very excited for this video because I've been waiting to do this for a really long time. So, this video is special to me for two reasons. One is that I am going to be announcing my Scaredy Cat Readathon TBR in this one, and the Scaredy Cat Readathon, in case you didn't know, is a readathon that I'm hosting this month for all of you people who don't like reading horror, etc., but feel left out during this Halloween spooky autumnal time. And I have a bunch of prompts that I've made, and it's just generally like a fun time because I'm a scaredy cat. And the second one is because I'm going to be doing this thing where I'm going to basically be playing a bunch of TBR games that a lot of my favorite booktubers play, because in the previous month, which is in September, which is technically in this month because I'm filming this in September, Becca, who I will link all of like the booktubers etc down in the description box. Yeah. But Becca has this amazing thing called the Becca's Bookopoly, and she has basically, it's like the Monopoly board, but she puts like various reading prompts on it, and then you play Monopoly and you kind of just like hit various targets etc and prompts, and then you read from those prompts, and it's just really cool. And I participated in the 48-hour version that she did, and I also participated last month, and it was just so much fun, which made me think, what if I make my TBR for this month based on all of my favorite booktubers TBR games? So we have some really cool TBR games. So one is the TBR wheel, which is essentially when people put like a bunch of books or prompts or whatever it is on this wheel, online wheel, or they actually have an actual wheel, and then they do that. They kind of choose a book through that. The second one is Gavin in How to Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Gavin. He has this amazing game called Play Your TBR Game Right. TBR right? Yeah, Play Your TBR right. And I will explain that soon, but that's something to do with cards. It's really fun. Then there is a TBR jar, which is self-explanatory. You have a jar, you have a bunch of books, names in it, and then you pick one out and then you read that book. Oh my god. Okay, the next one is Kitty Chooses Your Book. So Noria of Noria Reads, I think. She has the most amazing cat, and she makes her cat choose her books that she's gonna read, and it's just the most entertaining thing I have seen on the internet in a very long time, because Noria is amazing, and then the cat's freaking like has a personality. It's so good, and I wanted to do that. And did I do that? Yeah, maybe. It was a journey. So stay tuned for that. And then Emily does this thing called A to Z game, which I'm going to do as well, and I will explain all of these in a bit. And then of course Maddie does Dart Attack, which is just like, sounds like the funnest game ever. So how many are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So 6 TBR games, and let's just get into it. Cool. So for the first prompt of the Scaredy Cat Readathon, it is a book that you are scared of. And for this, I will not need to do any game because I already know the book that I'm choosing for this, because I pretty much made the Scaredy Cat Readathon because I knew that I was going to read this book this month, and that is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Now I have the book, I don't know where it is, so I'm gonna have to find it in this pile of books in front of me. But I will find it. But for now, I'll be happy with this lovely picture here. But yeah, this book is said to be one of the most emotion-inducing book of all time, and if you know me at all, I cry at basically anything. So I have been really scared to pick up this book, but I know that this book is really well written, and people just always give this 5 stars because well, it makes you go through so much, but also the characters are beautifully written and just like the plot's amazing and stuff like that. So I've been really interested to read it, but just not had the guts to. So I'm gonna do it this month and finally read it, and I will let you know how that goes. The second prompt is books that you are scared into reading, and that is essentially books that you have been putting off for so long, or books that you see other people are like really reading. So it's basically like books you're reading because of FOMO. But of course, I'm choosing books that I actually want to read, not just like it's hype and hence I should read it, because there's just too many books, you know.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
You know what I mean? Anyway, so we are going to hop on to my computer screen here. I have to, yeah, let's see. Alright, so I've basically put a bunch of, how do I do screen savings thingies? Cool, so we're going to start it now because I figured out screen recordings. But essentially, I have a bunch of lists, book series that I am really interested to read, and I've put them down here. And now we're just gonna click to spin. Ooh, wonder what it comes to. Wonder what it comes to. I'm so excited. Oh my god. Ooh, City of Brass. Wow, I love the sound effect and all of the stuff. Thanks, man. Cool. So City of Brass. Wait, I have the book. Now this book is all over Booktube, Bookstagram, the book community in general, because the third book in the trilogy just came out, and people are just basically losing their shit. But this book is basically set in Egypt, I think, wherein this girl pretends to be like a conduit or something like that, and then she by mistake gets a jinn to come to her, and then she goes to the City of Brass, and then there's a bunch of stuff that happens. I don't really know, because whenever people talk about it, and they talk about it a lot, I try to like zone out, because I just don't like to know the book. That doesn't make sense. I don't like to know about too much about the book before I read the book, because I knew that just by the basic premise, it just sounded premise. It sounded really good, and hence I wanted to read it. So, City of Brass, amazing! I'm so excited. The third prompt is books that you are scared by, and by this I said books that you are actually scared by, which is try to get out of your comfort zone and try to read maybe a horror book or something like that. So for this, I thought I would use Gavin's game, which is how to play your TBR right. So essentially what he does is he puts two books, one book that he really wants to read and one book that he kind of wants to read, not really, and he puts them on two ends of the spectrum, and then he has five cards, like playing cards, and he puts them face out, not face out, face in, and then he kind of what happens is that he how to explain this? Okay, so essentially what he does is that he opens one card at a time, and for example, if the card is 8, then he says, okay, if he has to guess whether the next card will be higher or lower. So why don't I just play the game and tell you how it goes? Okay, let's just do that. So because I don't have a deck of cards, because I don't know, I'm lame, I'm just gonna try to put this on the screen and then we'll see how it works. Okay, start recording please. Yes, so I'm gonna open the first card, and that is, yes, hi, can you please, okay, so it's Queen. So essentially what you have to do is you have to guess whether the next card is going to be higher or lower. So since it's Queen, I think it's definitely going to be lower. So I choose, say, lower, and then I go, how do I go next? Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so it's Jack, so it's lower. So this is great because that means that basically if I lose at any point of time, if I get it all wrong till like card number 5, then that means that I have fucked up and I have to then read the book that I don't want to read, if that makes sense to you now. So cool. The next card I think is going to be lower, and that is 3. So yes, works. Amazing. So then we have 3. So I definitely think it's going to be higher. Okay, so we have 5 now. And now it's tricky because could it be higher or could it be lower? Because this is the last card. And then I don't know. Which is why like I love watching his videos, because like it's just so like panic inducing but also so fun. Okay, so I think it's going to be higher. Okay, so if it is higher, I get to read the book that I want, which is Shirley Jackson's book. If it is lower, then I have to read The Patient. It's higher! Oh my god! Amazing! So cool. So I get to read We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Amazing! So again, in proper Smriti fashion, I don't completely know what this book is about, but I know that it basically follows this gothic haunted-ish sort of house, wherein basically there are 2 sisters. One has been accused of killing her entire family, and the other one is just trying to like protect the rest of the family. And then there are some uncles and like stuff like that, and then basically people are just giving them a lot of like attention, and then something goes wrong. But it says, in her final greatest novel, Shirley Jackson draws us into a dark, unsettling world of family rivalry, suspense, and exquisite black comedy. So I'm into that. I love that. I want to read it. This is great. The next game that we're playing is TBR Jar, and for this I thought I would still use some of the prompts because essentially in the Scary Cat Readathon you can double up with your prompts, or you can even choose multiple books within the same prompts. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose multiple books within the same prompt, and the prompt that I want to choose is books that you are scared by. And for this I have this TBR jar which has very few books in it because there aren't too many choices. So I have a few books in it, and I just like doing this. Okay, so let's see what I choose. Oh my god, I love doing this. Can I do this all the time? Okay, so the book that I chose is, well, can you see? Oh my god, I'm like a blogger. It's Bunny by Mona Awad. Now this book is just, people either love it or they hate it. And I have it on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm just like I don't really care. I can just read it. But this book basically is like dark academia. It's about like this girl who goes to university, and then there's this clique of girls, kind of are like mean girls of sorts, but they call each other Bunny. And then there's some like, apparently there's like rituals and there's like stuff that happens, and people are just like really confused by the book, so I want to know what they're confused by, if that makes sense. So that's why I want to read the book. So it's kind of like scared by and scared into. It's like 2 things. Anyway, so that's the book that I want to read. So cool. The next game is Kitty Chooses Your Book. And this one was just the most fun and the most ridiculous to film. So I've already filmed this in the past. And essentially I just had to like go down and try to find a cat, because I don't have a cat, but we have a bunch of cats in my building. So that's what I did, and check out those videos to see what happened. Right, so I've come down to try to look for a cat, and I have immediately found one. And I was thinking of maybe using this to lure him to find it, but he looks kind of like sleeping, so I'm gonna maybe go and try to find another cat. This is so weird. Sure. as you saw, the kitty chose The Yellow Bird Sings, and I am really excited about this one because on Goodreads it has this really great rating and everyone has just said amazing things about it. So yeah, I'm super excited. This book basically follows a mother and a daughter in 1941 in Poland, and they're Jewish and they're stuck in this barn and they can't really make any noise. So they basically sing songs for, I don't really know, which is a yellow bird song or something like that. I don't really understand. But essentially, it's about a mother-daughter relationship, and I ate that up like yes, and historical fiction. And this is actually, I'm going to be reading this as part of the Pan Macmillan historical fiction readathon that is happening this month, and was also taking place in September. But yeah, essentially, I am just so pumped to read this, and yeah. But hey, while we're talking about Pan Macmillan's historical fiction readathon, I thought I would also tell you another book that I plan to read this month, and that is Ken Follett's The Evening and the Morning, which is a prequel to the Pillars of the Earth trilogy. So if you watch my previous videos, you know that I love Ken Follett and the things that he writes, especially the Century trilogy. It's like one of my favorite trilogies of all time. And I just think he writes some really fun, fast-paced historical fiction, and he puts like a lot of work into the story and the plot and the characters and all of that sort of stuff. And the Pillars of the Earth is like this, it felt kind of slow-moving, but it's not. It's actually super fast-paced, but it's like 1,000 pages. But I think that's what this book is going to be as well, because it's a prequel to setting up that world, and that world was just super fascinating. So I am so excited to read this one. I cannot wait. It is, well, of course, a bit chunky, but Ken Follett just, like, you can read his books so fast because you always just want to know what happens next, because as I said, he's a great writer. Okay, so my card got full, which is probably the first time that this has ever happened. But anyway, I'm gonna just continue talking before my battery dies, which is also low. Okay, interesting. Okay, fast. So the next game that I wanted to play was Emily's A to Z game, and this is essentially, she has this dice which has the alphabet on it, and then she rolls it, and then whatever alphabet that she comes to, she chooses a book from that alphabet, and there's more to it, but I will direct you to her videos to know more. But essentially, the book that I came to was, the alphabet that I came to was N, so I chose The New Wilderness by Diane Cook, and essentially you don't have to think of the as a thing anyway, and then N, you know what I mean. Anyway, okay, so The New Wilderness by Diane Cook, it is shortlisted for the Booker Prize, and I am just super psyched about it because when it was longlisted, this was the book that I wanted to read from the long list because it just sounds so cool. And then this was like the most unlikely book to be shortlisted because like there were like bookies for a book prize, and essentially, you know, they have like who is the most likely, and this was the least likely to be shortlisted, and it did get shortlisted, so I was just like, fuck yeah. So I'm really excited to read this one. So this could also count as my scared into, honestly, because it's a Booker Prize, and Booker Prizes are always scared into. But essentially, this book follows a mother and daughter who live in this dystopian world where the daughter is now developing a lot of allergies and is falling really sick. So the mother basically signs them up to be part of this experimental crew of sorts to go live in the wild, because that apparently is just not a thing. So basically it's an allegory for can humanity and nature coexist, and do you then just like destroy each other, or like can you coexist of sorts. And I love that concept. I just love everything about this, and I just cannot wait to read it. And the last game that I'm going to be playing is the dart game that Maddie plays, and I will please follow her. She is amazing. But essentially what she does is that she has like this dart thingy, and then she throws darts at like the thing, and it lands at various colors, and the colors give you prompts, and then from those prompts you choose a book. But I just really wanted to do it, but there were no darts available, and there was no way that I was gonna go during this pandemic and go try to find darts and do this myself. So I reached out to her and I was like, hey Maddie, do you think that you could do this and just tell me what the prompt is, like kind of do it on my behalf? And she so wonderfully, sweetly agreed to it. And I love her. She's so great. So I'm just gonna watch the video that she sent me. Oops, that she sent me, and let us see what she says. Okay, are you ready? I'm not ready. Okay. Whew.
Here's your throw. Good luck choosing a book. Whatever prompt comes up, I have no idea which prompts are on there, so good luck. But here's your throw for your October TBR. Purple, which is number. So the prompt you got is number. To quickly explain it, that is use a random number generator to pick your book. So you could put in how many books you think you have on your shelves and count all the way along, or pick a stack of 10 and put in 1 to 10 on a random number generator and choose one of those. Completely up to you, but yes, that's your prompt. Good luck.
Cool. Okay, this is interesting. Awesome. So what am I gonna do for this? Shit. Okay, so I figured it out. So because it is award season right now, and in terms of like book awards, so there are 2 awards that I am following. One is the Booker Prize, and the shortlist is out, and then the second one is the JCB Prize, which is in India, and the shortlist is out for that as well. However, there are books on those shortlists which I haven't read yet, hence they're right here. And I really want to read books from that shortlist. So there are 5 on this list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the random number generator for this, and choose from 1 to 5, and let's see what happens. All right, cool. So whoo, hi, can you please generate? Okay, so it's 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 4th book is Gin Patrol on the Purple Line. Okay, this works out. So why this works out is because I've been dying to read this book since I think it came out, which was in like Jan, Feb, I don't even fucking know. But essentially this book was recommended to me like way back in November, when the editor of the book told me about this book, and I asked her. Essentially I was like, I met her at some book event and I was like, what book are you most excited about? And she was like, probably this one, like you should definitely read this one, it's amazing. And ever since then I've been dying to read it, and I've had it for so long and I've not read it. But this book basically follows the story of these kids in Delhi, and their friends start going missing. So they're underprivileged kids living in slums and all of that sort of stuff, and essentially their friends start going missing. So they think that it's a jinn, or like a spirit of sorts that's trying to that's taking their friends away, and they just try to detect who this jinn is and find this jinn, but of course it's not a jinn, it's probably going to be something more sinister. So yeah, I've heard just fantastic, brilliant things. I know Anuya and Sharon, who are my 2 friends, want this to win the JCB prize. So great. I am very excited to read this book. Thank you, Maddie. You are just amazing. So that concludes the book TBR game aspect of things. But apart from this, I also want to mention 2 other books that I hope to read this month, and that is The Right Swipe by Alicia Rai and Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. And yeah, so these are the books that oh my god. So those are part of book clubs that I am a part of. One is currently reading book club, and one is Aaron's Busy Bee book club, but these are the books that I plan to read this month, and I am just like so kicked about it because just look at it. It just looks so good. Okay, so that was it. Thank you so much for being a part of this video and watching till the very end. If you are here till the end, reply with this emoji, whatever this emoji is. Reply with the poop emoji. Reply with the poop emoji. I want to see the poop emoji. Okay. Bye. Also, I hope you take part in my Scaredy Cat Readathon, and if you do, please do let me know. Tag me. I want to see it. I want to be part of your journey. And yeah, okay. Bye now.